Let's set the scene. Picture this: Rochester, New York. It's late, and the night is quiet. Inside, Willie Murphy is simply going about her evening, getting ready for bed. It's one of those ordinary, peaceful nights where absolutely nothing is supposed to happen. But, as we'll explore in this explainer, peace is often just the quiet before the storm. Because out of nowhere, the silence completely shatters. We're talking about a sudden, aggressive pounding right at the front door. Willie walks over, perfectly calm. And on the other side of that wooden glass, there's a desperate stranger. He's yelling, claiming it's a massive emergency, begging her to call an ambulance right away. But listen to this. Willie doesn't panic. She just listens. She processes the whole situation with absolute ice in her veins. Her gut instinct kicks in, and something simply feels wrong. She's not buying the act. So, with this deliberate, unwavering calm, she flat out refuses to open the door. She holds her ground. Well, the stranger? He's not taking no for an answer. This suspected ruse suddenly turns into a violent reality. He decides he's getting in no matter what. He throws his entire weight against the wood. The frame splinters, the locks give way, and he completely breaks the door down, stepping into the darkness of her home. In his head, he's just successfully executed a home invasion. He thinks he's got the upper hand here, but he is blissfully unaware of the catastrophic, life-altering mistake he has just made by crossing that threshold. Okay, let's dive into this twist, because this is the exact moment our story pivots from a typical home invasion straight into a full-blown action thriller. The intruder thinks he's just breached the home of a helpless, vulnerable target. 82, that is Willie Murphy's age, an 82-year-old woman. On paper, to some guy kicking down a door, that number represents an easy mark, right? But numbers without context can be fatally deceptive. Because get this, 225. Willie Murphy isn't just an 82-year-old woman. She is a competitive powerlifter. 225 pounds of solid iron is what she deadlifts off the floor just for fun. So this intruder just kicked down the door of a woman whose hands are literally forged by gripping and lifting immense amounts of heavy steel. The so-called hunter just unwittingly locked himself inside a room with the absolute apex predator of the neighborhood. Now, she doesn't scream, she doesn't freeze, she just goes to work. It is a systematic, tactical dismantling. Step 1, she lifts her solid dining room table and slams it into him with such incredible force that the wood actually shatters. Step 2, the table is broken. Yeah, no problem. She immediately weaponizes the splintered pieces against him. Step 3, she uses her powerlifter legs to physically jump on the guy, pinning him down and completely overwhelming his defenses. And Step 4, she grabs a bottle of shampoo and sprays it directly into his eyes, blinding and disorienting him completely. It is rapid, it's calculated, and it is utterly devastating. And through it all, she never once loses her cool. So by the time the police finally arrive at the house to respond to the disturbance, the scene is completely inverted from what you would expect. Willie? She is perfectly fine. But the intruder? Oh man, he is a broken man. The police find him lying outside on her porch, in absolute shock and rising panic. He isn't trying to fight the cops or run away. No, he is desperately begging the officers to take him away. He is literally pleading with the authorities for salvation from an 82-year-old woman. And this brilliantly illustrates a moment of absolute poetic irony. It's the ruse versus the reality. Think about it. To get her to open the door in the first place, his fake excuse was that he urgently needed an ambulance. But after feeling the full force of a competitive powerlifter wielding a dining room table, the reality was that he legitimately, genuinely had to leave the scene inside of an ambulance. The exact lie he used to try and get into her house became his literal only escape vehicle to get out of it. But what happens next is what completely cements Willie's legendary mindset through this whole ordeal. The police have the guy, right? He's headed to the hospital, and Willie? She makes this remarkably cold, collected decision. She actually chooses not to press criminal charges against him. Why? Well, because as she figured it, the absolute physical and emotional beatdown she just handed him in her dining room was more than enough punishment. Believe me, he will never, ever forget the night he broke her door down. When reporters asked her about the terrifying incident later, Willie didn't want any sympathy. She wasn't shaken up at all. She just offered one cinematic, gravelly piece of undeniable truth. She said, he picked the wrong house. Come on. That is the ultimate mic drop moment. Just a simple statement of fact. She was 82. He never stood a chance. So as we wrap up this explainer,
It leaves us with a really provocative question to think about. What does true strength actually look like? It doesn't always look like an action movie star, and it certainly isn't bound by age. Willie Murphy's story is this high-octane reminder of the danger of underestimating people based on a number or just a first glance. True strength is a calm mind, an unyielding spirit, and sometimes the ability to deadlift 225 pounds when someone makes the fatal mistake of knocking down your front door. Thanks for joining me as we unpacked this incredible source material. Stay curious and remember, never underestimate the quiet ones.